нібито працює. Так. Окей, супер. Починаємо. На англійській.
Прошу.
Good morning, Oleksandr.
Good morning, my dear. Good morning. My good morning and your very good night.
Yeah, that's life. So it's my pleasure to have you here. Very happy to see you. Really,
My pleasure as well. My pleasure.
Very, very thankful to you for giving us your precious time. So let's start with our interview. Our topic for today is about leadership, especially in a global context. Since you are a global leader, a diplomatic leader to be specific, we would like to have your take on it. So please feel free to introduce yourself for starters.
Okay, dear Khaled, once again, thank you very much for choosing me to interact, to give you some input, give you some my vision and insight. It's always a pleasure to actually share something with the younger generation because you are the future, that you will create the opportunities, possibilities to develop and grow. I wouldn't go that high and call myself a global leader. I'm just a leader of a small, very professional team working here in Kuwait. To be brief, my name is Dr. Oleksandr Balanutsa. I'm holding a PhD in international economics and I'm holding Doctor of Science in pedagogic. Actually, my thesis is my thinking of actually upbringing of the future diplomats, the professional training of future diplomats on how to make them an intellectual resource of the country. As of now, as we speak, I am very honored to represent my country, Ukraine, in the state of Kuwait. I've been here already 4.5 years. Before that, I used to work as the Consul General of Ukraine in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Within the sphere of international relations, I'm pretty much around 20, 22, 23 years. Born myself in a very nice, green, picturesque place called Kropivnitsky. The old name is Kirovograd, 300 kilometers from Kiev. Graduated from the university there, had a wonderful opportunity once in a lifetime to win the Freedom Support Act by the US government in 1999 and had a chance to study 1 year, had my undergraduate studies in Minneapolis and Paul, University of Minnesota and University of Nebraska at Omaha. Then worked for some time and had some internship in Voice of America in Washington, D.C., came back home, entered international law program in Kiev and in the University of Finance and Trade. Graduated from that, started working for the government, Ministry of Finance, State Department for Financial Monitoring is pretty much the same as the American name of the FinCEN, that a group of specialists that is taking care of the anti-money laundering and anti-terrorism financing operations. Then I joined PhD program and worked for about 5 years as associate professor at the State Tax Administration Academy. After that, had a chance to work with the NGO to exercise what I have been really, doing and acquiring. Again, joined the Doctor of Science program because still, all the time that I'm working with the international relations, I'm still teaching. Since 1997, I'm teaching and I have, this feeling that this is something that I really have to share. And I teach since 1997, and if now working as the ambassador, I am the full professor at the West Ukrainian National University, and I work with my students there, as well as giving lectures whoever might be interested in. I had already a chance to give a couple of lectures at the New York University in Abu Dhabi, in Kuwait Diplomatic Institute, Kuwait University, Ukrainian universities, you may name it. So pretty much briefly about myself, 20 plus years within the international relations sphere, and the same time teaching, working, experimenting, publishing some books in diplomacy for kids, for students. So pretty much briefly, should you be having any more questions, please let me know. I'll be very happy to share.
That's very, very interesting. You have so much.
I just don't want you to be bored, with me listening.
No, that's really very interesting.
You know how they usually say is if you ask a question of a professor, you ask him a question, any answer of a professor becomes a lecture. So, I don't want any lectures. I'm just sharing what I feel like.
Yeah, it's okay. Feel free to talk as long as you need. So my question is, considering you have so much experience is there any particular challenge or challenges you faced along the way that stood out that maybe you overcame?
You mean within my 20 years of, becoming, let's say, a leader?
Yeah, yeah, especially when it comes to leadership or working with others.
I would be very frank with you. We don't know whether we are born leaders, okay? Definitely we have some stars that guide us and supervise us our birth and, giving us some light. But it's up to a person to decide whether he wants to become a leader or not. You come into a group where there are 10, 15, 20 people starting with a class, and you have to decide whether you want to be a leader, whether you have something that you can bring to the group as a leader. So as I said, I was born in a very small, even the best place on earth, but a very small town. And comparing the way that I went through, I don't think that I had any probably chances to become an ambassador representing myself, representing Ukraine in such a position as ambassador. But I really thought I could change the world in some way. And what helped me is that throughout school years, I was very active. I was really, sports and music and theater and everything, just trying to develop myself the way I really wanted to be an integral part of the community. And that I saw that serving the community at that time was really good. I wanted to become the dean of the university and then the professor before I get to this Freedom Support Act program in the United States. Because when I studied in the United States and I had access to library and I had to internet, it was 1999. You can imagine, no Skype, no no messengers. You can't talk to your parents. So I left my parents and I saw them after 1 year. We had, an opportunity to send a snail mail, par avion for 4 months. It goes one way and 4 months goes back. And so I was pretty much by myself to understand what I want. And apart from my friends who really came to United States to enjoy their life, I really had to really pull all-nighters to work. And I had to work and I had to, earn every single dollar to make sure that I know the price of a dollar. And so as, washing dishes, cutting grass, throwing newspapers, distributing in order to get, that $4 per hour to assist myself, to invest in myself. That's why I was traveling to Los Angeles to watch the games of Los Angeles Lakers and see Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant. I was 19 years old. I was in Nebraska. I had to travel to Los Angeles by myself. No parents. The aviation. Honestly, where could I see the planes, and everybody would use the cell phones. But somehow I got from Nebraska to Los Angeles to Hollywood, and I walked through and I saw. And I was working and I was earning that money to make sure that I invest in my emotions and my things. And actually, the program that the American government gave to us as the newly renovated independent country, the regained independence in 1991. So 8 years after that, I had the chance to have a look at the different world, different perspective, being from the Soviet Union, and see how young generations get the chance to develop themselves. And I wanted to be on that track. I didn't want to go, to waste my time, enjoying myself. But I had that very short 1 year or 360 days, and I really want to get the gist of all that, every single second that I had. So I studied, I learned, I took some never expected things that I've never seen. I talked to people, I talked to professors, I watched the sportsmen. And actually, after coming from the United States, after that year, I decided that I want to become a president because I thought that I could change something. So, the United States gave me that platform to understand that if I have access to knowledge, if I have access to people, if I have access to professionals who share what they have experienced in their life, I then reason from what they have, and they made me a platform. So I become more and more stronger. And then I started really thinking that I really could change something, and I can. And that's when you feel yourself inside that you have knowledge, you have some skills, you have some behavior that really can make you a leader. And then you start offering something to the team. The team is not expecting you to come and say, okay, this morning I'm a leader. No one hears that. You come and you say, okay, let's do this, or I can be this, or, you and me, we can do this together. Because to my understanding, leadership is something that that really can create the potential. A leader by himself can open up the potential of the whole team. So that's what I start feeling, that I can really lead people, and together we can evolve, we can develop, we can get more. So the challenges, when you're saying that this was actually the challenge to fight yourself, whether you can do it, whether you're brave enough, whether, as Americans would say, to brave shark infested waters. Would you do that for yourself? Do you need to be higher than someone else? Because the higher you are, the better target you are becoming. People might not like you because you're bringing something else, because you're different. So this is the challenge, not to stop developing yourself. You have to keep working, keep pushing yourself all the time. Right now, I'm not a young man, not 16 years old, but even now, I'm having 3 hours per day of my daily studies. I have 2 private tutors to develop my Arabic speaking skills, Spanish speaking skills. I started learning French September 1st by myself. I don't want to stop, because I really want to make sure that if I get to lead by example, then my diplomats, young diplomats in the embassy, my students where I teach, they really cannot say, you're already ambassador, you sit, you enjoy. I don't enjoy. This is a very hard work. You have to be 25/8 on alert. You have to read, you have to know, you have to speak. So this is something that you are facing as a challenge, your development. This is a challenge. You need to have non-stop development. That's probably the best challenge. People get tired. People get tired of learning. They really don't maybe want to pull, that blanket of yourself and say, I can do it. But I think I am. I'm pulling that blanket. I'm saying, guys, let's move it. I'm trying to still feel alive and kicking. So the challenge is, answering your question, is fight yourself to not stop developing.
Right. So if I can put it in one word, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's discipline to keep going. Right?
100%. For me, this should be on my t-shirt when I play football. Discipline. Without the discipline, you cannot really lead by example. I mean, there is no one, somebody say, why are you doing this? Discipline in everything, in arranging your stuff, in having your table, in talking to people, in actually, planning your day life. I mean, you have only one day, today. No one promises tomorrow. Yesterday is already past, so you only have one day. So enjoy it, fool it, feel it. Do whatever you want this day. I started this day. You have my schedule. I have to learn something. I have my meetings, and I want to develop every day. I want to say, what have I done to become a little bit better? And in one of my books, which I share to my students, there is one opening statement which I offer. A diplomat is a person who, if you translate correctly, a person who wakes up a better version of himself than he went to bed yesterday. Okay, so you have to wake up a better person of yourself, a better version of yourself, which means that the previous day you have to do something. You have to contribute in your development something to become better next morning. And I believe that's what pushes me forward.
Right. You think it's just for diplomats, or is it for leaders in general?
No, this is just about a personality who really wants to achieve. I think you may name it, you take sports, you take private sector, corporate sector, university, academics. You take, honestly, let's say sports. You take Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan, when I was young, he's a rocket, okay? He's airspace. But he was spending hours and hours and hours to practice, to become the one that he was given that right to make a shot, even if he doesn't make it. But he was doing that shot. He was working on himself. You take, Steve Jobs. He created a phone that, no one ever believed, but he put together the team. He offered something different. He was a leader. You take, I can recall, joke now, but you take Bruce Willis, okay? His character in the movie Armageddon, one of the best movies, I think. He put together a team of guys, they're working, as engineers, something, and he went up there almost, to save the world. That shows that characteristics of a leader, being just a guy working as an engineer, maintenance guy. So the leader, the political leader, the student, the academician, Timothy Snyder, an American professor who teaches history. And he was the first one in the United States who offered the Ukraine modern class in history, and he's teaching in Yale. and the way he invested, 40 years of his life into learning history, going to archives. He didn't know when he was, like, say, in Poland or in Austria or in his university, he was doing his research paper, that he would become world known, and he becomes the Ukrainian ambassador right now, to raise the awareness about Ukraine. So in every sphere you take it, every sphere, I said already, sports, we had TV, we had historians, political leaders. So it's just about the personality who really wants to achieve. If you really want it, you have it.
Wow, that's super interesting. Really, really interesting. Okay, let me go to a further question. We talk a lot about leadership in the context of business work and so on, but on a personal note, do you think your values apply to your daily lives? Like, I know you're a father, you have a family. Do you think the same strategies
I
apply?
believe, this is a very interesting question. Since you're waking up this morning, every morning you wake up, you are your own personality. Okay, so every morning you have your vision of the whole day. Again, coming back from discipline, what do you have to do? If you take this very day, the 11th of October, we woke up at 4 in the morning because one of my youngest daughters woke up and she needed some attention, briefly, but she did. I have a son, 15 years old, and I have two twin girls, 1 year and 5 months. We're working with them, and so I'm being a father. And at night, wake up, you assist, you go back to sleep, you wake up at 5:30. This is the only time you have early in the morning when the girls are sleeping. The whole world is still not active, and you can really read. You can really put some books together. You can really have some, quiet breakfast, because starting at 6:30, the girls wake up, and then the whole world starts, spinning around. And then again, you come to work. You have your own schedule. Today we have an interview, very interesting project, and I'm very happy I'm a participant of that. Then after that, I have lots of meetings, business-wise, that I have to do in the embassy. We have another lecture at the Diplomatic Institute today. We have an event in the evening. And this is my personal life. I'm on the phone, I'm on the computer, talking to my family, talking to my friends. We're doing a lot of volunteer work that, Ukraine really needs right now. And so they call me, ambassador, help us to do this. And that makes my life, by actually giving, not taking, I feel myself comfortable. I have acquired something. I really want to give. I've climbed the mountain to my extent, and I really want to give that knowledge to someone. I have a very young diplomatic staff, and then they're looking at me. So I'm trying to be a leader for them. Look, I'm a leader for my family, for my father. I'm earning. They see me. I'm spending time. At night, if I have time, I'm spending with my girls, reading books and everything. That's my precious time. For the staff, I have done PhD, I have done Doctor of Science, so I'm offering them, guys, girls, please do it. So one of them is already, taking my steps, and probably soon we'll get to the PhD defense thesis. I am trying to be a leader and example. As much as I can, I'm offering whatever I have so that people can take it from me and be better of themselves. If I have made my mistakes in the past, and I know and I accept them and I acknowledge them, and I'm telling them not to do the mistakes, not to make these mistakes. You have your own mistakes, but at least the one that I've seen, don't make this one. So personal life, professional life, academical life, I'm the person who is really fighting with the better options, better opportunities. I really cannot sit and, somebody's saying, Alexander, you need to have some yoga. I said, I don't know how I can spend 1 hour in no yoga. I mean, I really want to try, but I'm not sure if I can really sit and enjoy that yoga for 1 hour, because it's million phone conversations a day. It's like running all the time. It's interesting. My wife told me this morning when the youngest daughter woke up at 4, she says, like, the whole family is sleeping okay. Only the youngest daughter, whose character me is like copy me, like you really print out copy of Papa. My wife says, okay, she's really waiting to be swimming with you, because I swim at 6:30 in the morning when I have a chance. And even the swimming pool doesn't open because they open at 7. They say, please, sir, can you come later? Because 6:30 you still have no people. I said, this is the only chance I have. I need to swim. So my wife says, your daughter really is waiting for you because she really loves swimming. They already actually go into training classes for already 3 months. They're already learning how to swim, and they're fine. So the eldest twin doesn't like water, like mama. The youngest one is like 100% lives in the sea like me. So even in this case, my wife says, you have your youngest daughter, go at 6 a.m. and swim. And so this is just me. I really want to, you know, I really want this life to be full.
Very insightful.
Uh,
I wanted to ask one question because you mentioned a couple of times that you want to lead by example. At
yeah.
least you're trying to lead by example. Perhaps reflecting back on your life, was there someone who you looked up to as a leader by example that influenced you? Maybe.
Um, it's an interesting question. I may refer. I hoped it might be interesting to you, since for let's say, um, when I was in the sixth grade, it was, I don't know, 12, 13 years old. I really dreamed of becoming a diplomat. Okay, so when I moved from my little city to Kiev, it was August 2022. I actually, as soon as I get into dorms in the hostel, I throw my stuff in the room, not unpacking anything. So I got the train, I got the trolley bus, I got the metro, and I went to the building of the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine. It's an amazing, wow, building. And I stood up next to this building and I said, God, I really want to work in here. It was 28th of August, 2022. So I was really having that diplomatic thing in front of me. I really wanted to serve as a diplomat. And it took me almost 14 years after my government service, NGO service, academic career, to finally join the Ministry of Foreign Affairs after 14 years. And I was dreaming of this diplomatic service. So while dreaming of this service, I was reading lots of things and biographies of people who might really inspire. Lots of our Ukrainian diplomats like Anatoly Zlenka, Anatoly Gennady Udovenko, those who were really the the veterans of the diplomatic service who actually created the service. And I was really thinking whether I can do something like that to also help. And learning more and more about diplomacy, I was very happy to get actually to Kuwait as an ambassador. And here's the trick. Kuwait is a very interesting country. When I told you that I had my PhD in finance, I still was working on my Doctor of Science in Education and Pedagogics. But I was really fighting with the thesis. I was thinking about, this professional development of diplomats, but I couldn't understand what aspect I really want to do. So what I was happy with is that when I came to Kuwait, one of the first meetings they asked is the Kuwait Diplomatic Institute of Sabah here in Kuwait. Why? Because the leader of Kuwait at that time, late Sheikh Sabah, Sabah al-Ahmed al-Jaber al-Sabah, he was considered, he was the emir of Kuwait, and he was considered the father of Arab diplomacy. Why? Because he has been serving 40 years as the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Kuwait. So you can imagine, 40 years he was representing the country at the state. No one ever did it in the world. So Sheikh Sabah was that kind of paragon, okay, the beacon for 40 years being the Minister of Foreign Affairs, that he knows the whole world. And then he became the humanitarian leader. He received from the United Nations the reward as Kuwait as the humanitarian leader. So, I was in the place where diplomacy was something really powerful. So I came to meet the director of the Diplomatic Academy, and we had a very protocol, like 15 minutes conversation. So guess what? I had 1 hour and 15 minutes. I really spoiled the whole schedule of his and myself. We never went out. It was almost 2 hours that we were speaking to each other. I was sharing some stories. He was sharing some stories. It was perfect, exchange of ideas. And what happened as a result of that idea? I came out of the meeting. I didn't go for any other meetings. I came to my office at this desk, and I started pulling together the ideas after that meeting that made me see a clear picture of what my Doctor of Science program would be. So I actually was in the right place. I was fighting with the thesis. Now, after having that meeting, 2 hours after that, I came and I pulled together, and there was a list of things which I really wanted to reveal. And it was 2019. And so I had, after 4.5 years, I got my thesis. So this was kind of a leading of an example of a diplomacy that, for example, Sheikh Sabah, who was here as the leader for 40 years and then became the emir, And guess what? I was honored to give my credentials to him. So I actually saw that leader. I shake hand. I speak to him, and he spoke to me. This was something really cool. So as a diplomatic thing, I got this diplomatic, guru, the diplomatic beacon of diplomacy that I thought that, really, really worth, not duplicating, but at least taking his heritage and trying to do something else. As well as, for example, Sheikh Zayed Al Nahyan from United Arab Emirates. The country back in the 40s, 50s, 60s were definitely an absolute different country for what it is now. But the way Sheikh Zayed offered his vision, he led it by example, he motivated his people, he took decisions, he took the risks. And now look at the United Arab Emirates, the way it offers the development to every single resident who is there. So that's probably be, something which I would reflect on immediately personal wise that I'm looking. Of course, there are many leaders that you would definitely take something, but you asked me this, question, and I reflected right now, like the way I feel it now.
Honestly, it was very, very insightful. What about the integration of the Kuwaiti culture for you? I know you're learning the Arabic language, but anything else you're doing to try to integrate into?
Well, you definitely a very nice Arabic speaker, and you might have some Arabic guys also learning there. So Kuwait is Hayallah min yana aswarat wa anwarat hayyakum Allah. That's something that I came without any practice of Arabic. Now I pretty much speak, write. I give my speeches in Arabic. I really live it here. If I even have hundreds of books here, but even this one, speak Kuwaiti. That's a different language. That's not even the way that the Kuwaiti are saying that, we just use it. We just say it. So I'm taking 2 classes. I'm taking Fusha, the modern standard Arabic, and I'm learning Kuwaiti Arabic. And I have my, daftari. And every day I'm, writing down something, I'm not sure if you see it in the camera, but every day I'm writing something, something which every word somebody gives me, and I learn, and I write it down Kuwaiti. So the Kuwaiti culture is very interesting. It's very generous. That's probably by hospitality, no one can beat them. They open their hearts, they open their smiles, they open their houses. This is something that no one would ever witness unless he's in Kuwait. The Diwania stuff, when you come and open up, like you have a birthday party, you expect someone, but here's the birthday party when you expect everyone. So you just open up and you say hi and you talk and you exchange. This is something really very unique from this part of the world. This is really something that, I really want to have it, Alexander's Diwania one day as well. So I will also be hosting people.
Sounds very nice. I think the Kuwaitis listening tomorrow will really appreciate.
Oh, if you ever share this with your Kuwaiti friends, please tell him my best wishes. And if there are some Kuwaiti students, I believe that they're really one of the best, because it's so difficult to compete. And if the Kuwaitis are there, that means they're the best. So good luck to Kuwaiti students, to your friends. I hope you'll make it a very nice team together.
Right. And do you think it's important to learn details like the language or details about the culture when working?
If you're talking about my professional input here, for example, in Kuwait, or like say in United Arab Emirates, I came to my first posting to Dubai, and really it was not actually needed to speak Arabic, because the whole environment speaks English. And when I started learning Arabic, you would really be some kind of pushed back, saying, okay, come on, just do it English, okay? No Arabic. So you would really be not motivated to speak it. Here in Kuwait, when I came back and I started offering my knowledge of English, of Arabic, and people would motivate me, people would interact, people would say, oh, come on. So within 4 years here, I really got my classes, and I do have my lectures, and I'm reading my newspapers. So see, for Kuwaiti friends, for those who are watching, this is today's paper. So I am learning, and this can open up the gate. When you say something in the language a person is talking to you in his native language, you have that feeling. Whenever you feel someone in California, in Miami, in New York, who would say, Khaled, vitayu, dobry ranok, good morning, hi, you would say, wow, This is my something. So definitely the Kuwaitis who listen from me as a foreigner, as European, that I speak Kuwaiti with them, they say, "MashaAllah, how you do it?" I said, "I just learn every single day. I learn from you." So I really highly recommend to all the diplomats who are being posted in the country, it's absolutely a must to get the cultural things from them and learn the language and be there, because you are an integral part of this bridging. How you can bridge if one of the barriers might be the language. So that's my recommendation. Definitely yes.
Wow, very, very interesting. Dr. Alexander, I know you're a busy man and it's a short interview, so we can talk forever and I can honestly listen
For
forever.
sure. As I
But
said, as soon as you ask a question, a lecture, there will be a lecture in response. So cut me.
good, that's good. You have so much to say and so much knowledge. But is there anything you would like to add to finish up our talk?
Well, I would like to really to address you now, if I may, because you are Ukrainian of a generation that really would have to build our Ukraine back. You are the only one right now I'm talking to in this dialogue that you will then take my knowledge to your classmates and everyone. So by presenting Ukraine in class in the university, you are Ukraine. You are the advocate. You are the future. So when you act, always think about Ukraine behind you. You speak many languages. You have a wonderful family. You have wonderful knowledge. You have degrees that will help you to build, to rebuild, reconfigure Ukraine to become a very technological state, to be an independent, powerful country. So I'm asking you, when you are there, represent Ukraine to the highest extent possible. Be proud that you are Ukrainian. Now I want to thank you for really not being afraid to come that far, from your family, from your friends, and learn something new and get yourself into the new atmosphere. This is also something very important. Many people of your age might enjoy, discos and nightclubs and something, but you really came to one of the best universities and you're doing that project. And, maybe one day if I'm dreaming, let's say, benchmark, Pepperdine or Stanford, that I really want to become a professor, I would really wish to see my audience like you are, that are really taking, they're really, absorbing from me. Because sometimes when I make a lecture and I see the audience is not ready, you're really not motivated to give everything you have because they're not ready to take everything they have. So now if your audience, if your friends, if your students there are ready to take it, that would be probably the best place for me as a professor to give everything I have. According to leadership, according to crisis management, according to diplomacy of war, we're putting together a book right now, War and Diplomacy in Arabic, that we really want to teach our Ukrainians who are learning Arabic, to give them the basis of how to interact, how to translate, how to comment on what is happening. So the final words, the conclusion is that I'm here for you. Should you need my help, please get best to your team in class. Please get my best wishes to the leadership of your university. Let them know that I'm here available for them should they need a Ukrainian, to share something with them. I'm very, very happy. If you need my help, my assistance, I'm always available.
Thank you. Professor, I would like to send a message in your direction as well. If you see my eyes, I'm like you. I have been working non-stop computer, no sleep for since I came. However, I think we both deserve a trip to the mountains for a few days where we
That's
can
for
just
sure. That's 100%, because when you go in, you just turn off. Okay, no phones, nothing, just the nature.
yeah.
Just the nature. That's what I have when I swim. I have no phone, nothing. I just get my water and that's it. And I'm there. That's how I can rejuvenalize, regenerate myself. So,
Right.
that's the life we have to enjoy. And I'm really happy that I had this conversation with you. And at least if I could help you with something like your project, and you have me. I'm not sure. Probably people would believe that I'm the ambassador. Okay, what I have to prove to show that ambassador? A Ukrainian Kuwaiti flag. Okay,
See
and
the see
okay.
the
Oh, my business card,
Google
just in case. Just in
Google
case. See your business card. So
Okay.
just officially, see, officially. So you'll see it
Right.
in the camera, okay? So now
Yeah.
finally, I did it, so you know it. Khaled, thank you very much. Дякую щиро. Say hello to your team. Good luck. If you have guys from Kuwait, say hello from me to them. And definitely, if you have a chance to talk to your dean, to your faculty members, to your president of the university, tell them that they're doing the greatest job. Tell them that they're one of the best.
Thank you. And I will definitely talk to them, especially you. All right. Thank you, Professor. I will stop the recording and I will send you the recording. I hope there will be no